Okay, so we are continuing from the last unit. We are doing unit 3. Okay, here from the paper 2, the structure and nature of traditional Indian social system. We already have talked about Varna, Varnashram, and Purushartha, and what are the meaning of these particular terms. We are now familiar with this terms like Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. We know that these dharma, these are basically Purushartha. The meaning of it is, uh, I already have talked it in the previous video. It is duty. Okay. So the most important thing here is this. T.V. Kane has written this book, History of Dharma Shastra. Okay, Dharma Shastra. So moving forward, will be okay. So you have to understand this particular thing about it is that this Varna, Ashram, and Purusharth. These are basically the part and parcel of life. This is birth and this is death of a person. Imagine. So here, when a person is born, everything starts. Okay, he'll be in brahmacharya ashram till he get married. Here he gets married. So till this particular time, it will be his brahmacharya ashram. So he will be entitled to dharma. That his all action should be uh, should mostly be focused on this particular thing. Then from married to some age where he'll start detaching himself from the worldly life and he'll go to vanaprastha. So here, before that, from this particular thing, when he will be in grihastha ashram, he will do dharma, artha, and kama. And dharma, duty. Arth means prosperity, kama means pleasure. Varna, when he'll start detachment, and then from Varnashram to death, he'll be basically a sannyasi, and sannyasi is mainly focused on dharma. So this is all about it. Now, we in the previous video have discussed majority of this topic. Now we will be discussing what type of questions are being asked. So first topic is here, which is Rin. Rin means debt. That you borrow some say 1 lakh rupee from bank. So if you're not Nirav Modi or Vijay Mallya, you have to return it, right? You have to return it. So this debt and rin means these are certain debt that are being imposed on us or sanctioned on us from the moment we enter into this ashrams. So there are few types of rin. So basically, rinas are the type of debt that is basically is sanctioned on an individual by virtue of him being a member of Indian social system. So there are certain types of rin: Pitru rin, Matru rin, Dev rin, Rishi rin, Bhut rin, Guru rin. Now, what do I mean by this rina? Rina, basically it's rin. You should pronounce it as rina. Okay. Pitrurin means the ancestrals. All the ancestors basically comes under this Pitrurin. Okay. Ancestors. So these ancestors, these particular people come under the Pitrurin. Okay. Okay. So next is Devrin, basically all the offerings and prayers and Havan and Yajna that one has to do throughout his life. Devrin. Pitrarin already. Matrarin is basically uh, there are various movies where there's like you have to pay the debt to the mother also. Karan Arjun, for example. That is Matrarin. Then Rishirin, you have to pay respect, you have to pay tribute to your gurus. That is here. Rishis are basically the sadhus and then everything. Bhutrin basically are uh, the antithesis of this particular thing. These are not essential, but people does that as well, and the reasons are ambiguous. As you know that this are associated with some sort of mysteries. Okay. Okay. So next is karma. Now, what do I mean by karma? Karma is simply action. Now if we define karma, it simply means action. That is it. It does not define it as a good action or bad action. It only says that it is an action. So karma is basically a process which is in continuity. Whatever we are doing is basically a karma. Now in order to do this karma, is firstly there is a doer. We call him as karta. Then there is an action. Okay, this is basically karma. Then there is a chesta. Okay, and doer, action, chesta. And there is this daiva. Daiva is basically fate. Okay, daiva is fate. So these are basically the some components, principles of karma, that there is a doer, then there is an action, then there is certain things which happens, and then there is a fate which is daiva. Now mostly we say that good action leads to good consequences, and bad actions has the bad consequences. The next is this karma is also defined as, to understand this thing, there's birth status. For example, if someone is Brahmin, it means that in the past life he has done some good work. If the person is say for example Shudra, it means that in the past life he has done some bad actions, and that is how this karma system is basically the orientation. But this is not entirely true. We'll be discussing that aspect as well. Now if someone is born, it means he will die. Okay, if someone is born, it means that the person is definitely going to die. And this cycle between birth and death is called as samsara. The freedom that person gets from this cycle is called as samsara. We also can call it as moksha in a certain way. And that is how we can we already have seen purushartha, that is dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So here moksha is something which is associated with karma. Okay, karma and samsara. The next is, there are three types of karma. Okay, the first is accumulated karma, means the karmas that we have accumulated in the past life, and today's our position or status is depending upon that thing. Second is destined karma. Destined karma means these are the action in ongoing process right now what we are doing. And third is accumulating karma, means whatever we are doing today will be accumulating, and that will lead to our future. So what is we are doing in present will have impact on our future. So if we are studying good, it means we will have a better opportunity. That is all it means. But there is, if you are writing answer, then this point is important, that is significance. So why this thing karma is important? Karma is important because it gives us an opportunity to believe that there is a better future. Okay, if we do good, something good will happen to us. That is something we believe in, a good future. Second is hope of salvation. Salvation is basically moksha. If we do good actions, if we, there are a lot of things, okay, like karma, then there is purushartha, there is ashrams, that is varnashram, okay, and there is rina. And if we do everything in a right way, then we will get moksha. And if we failed, and if we don't do, then it will simply be rebirth, and the rebirth will again be amplified into other things. So this particular thing, karma, gives us hope for salvation. Third is, it compels to take good action. As we know that good action has good consequences, bad action has bad consequences. So it in a certain way compels a person, or basically gives a positive push. And this is also important to maintain a social order. The next thing here is criticism. Now nothing here is uh, goes beyond criticism. Criticism is very important. See, if we blindly believe this thing, then it justifies caste, because if someone is of a higher caste, means in past life he has done something good, or someone is in a miserable position, it means that in the past life that person has done some real bad thing. So that is something, is a criticism, we cannot say that thing, but that is something which karma says. Slavery is also justified under karma, because people say that that is your past life's bad karma, that's why you're slave this life. Colonization, even sati, you did some bad stuff in past life and hence your husband died. So basically this is some sort of things which get justified through karma, which are negative. Next is it creates this niyati type of situation, that whatever we do, there is no say. Okay, whatever we do, it's just going to be like, I'm not going to get any food this year, my life is going to be suffering, and etc. This is going to be there. Okay, so a person believes that there is some sort of a stability of whatever actions I am taking, I will not get anything in this life, and who knows whether there is other life or not, whether I am going to get another birth or not. So this is basically what niyati says, and it halts the future actions, because see, good actions has good consequences, but this is majoritarily on paper, on just oral tradition. But in reality, the people who are not doing good are actually in a better place. For example, the mafias, for example, criminals, for example, the corrupt politicians, and all those people who are corrupt. So they are enjoying better quality of life. They are having uh, better standard of life. They are living a life that people envy, people want, and hence this thing is certain in a certain way, that people do not want to do good action, because when they do good action, nothing good happens to them, and hence this is something a criticism of it. The next topic is basically rebirth. What do I mean by rebirth is a simple fact, that first you do good karma. Okay, after doing good karma, you pay off all therein. After paying off all therein, you uh, maintain this varnashram karma. Okay, after that you have to do, rin is done, ashram is done, you have to maintain purushartha. You have to maintain purushartha, and when everything is done, you have to do it in a right way, and dharma is central to it. But if anything, any sort of karma, any type of rin, that is pitra rin, matra rin, atiti rin, bhoot rin, dev rin, rishi rin, guru rin, any of it rin is not paid. If in this varnashram, sannyasashram, vanprasthashram, grihasthashram, brahmacharyashram, or purushartha, that is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. If anything of it is missed, and if nothing, dharma is not central to any one of them, the person will go to rebirth. Now that rebirth is basically dependent upon your karma. You will get another life of human, animal, or whatever that thing is there in the thing. So this is basically the dharma, artha, kama, moksha, karma, responsibility, rina, etc, etc, etc is what we have discussed over here. And this is, if anything goes south, it means there is a possibility of rebirth. And you, what rebirth means is, again your soul will be trapped in a body. Okay, your soul will be trapped in a body, and that is something that soul doesn't want. What soul want, according to the scripture, is moksha. Now moksha means freedom from birth and death, basically samsara. Okay, and the samsara can be possible with union with almighty, or union with god. Now this is something about rebirth. Next topic is, in the same topic, the next part is What is soul? Body. So you see, soul is something sort of a thing which is immutable, eternal. It is not born, not created, and indestructible. But body, on the other part, is temporary, mortal, destructible, which is born and created. So that is how these two things are completely different. Now, body is something which is perishable, but soul is not. So soul will find another body, after that another body, after that another body. If everything goes well, it gets moksha. If not, it goes rebirth, and again the cycle continues. So that is about this thing, rebirth. Then this union between the body and soul is purely basically a sort of imprisonment of soul. Imprisonment of soul. And birth is basically a mixture of soul and body, that is spirit and body. So this is basically the birth. This is the diagram that you should be able to draw. Okay, now you can find this diagram everywhere. So it will be a circle. Here is moksha. Okay, here is a brahmacharya ashram, that is, a person is just born, then he'll be grihastha, then the person become vanaprastha, and then a person becomes sannyasi, and after sannyasi person will get moksha. But for everything, dharma is central. That person has to go through dharma. When he becomes grihastha, he also have to acquire artha and kama. Here he will have artha and kama, but it will decrease. Here only dharma, and here only dharma. We have to make sure that the rin is paid. Rin is paid, all sort of rin. If the rin is not paid, then it will be rebirth, what we already have discussed. And this is basically the diagram that should fetch you good amount of mark. For example, 1 or any 0.75, whatever the marks that is possible. So this is all about unit 3.1. In the next video we will be discussing another topic, so stay tuned and keep learning.